What's going on here, you might be wondering. I love stuff like this, I just do, I love it. The last couple of weeks I just browse YouTube, I do every night, looking at different things to get different ideas, different techniques. And I saw this, it's called electroculture. Permaculture, electroculture. So what it is, these are copper coils which I've made up from some stripped electrical cable, some 12mm old shower cable I had. So I've stripped the wire out, the thicker ones, there are the earth wire, and these with the sort of multiple strands are the thinner wire inside, which I've kind of doubled up, twisted together, and then made the coils. I just simply wrapped them around a piece of 10 or 12mm steel rod I had. So I've made about 8 or 9 of them, I think. Now what do they do? Well, the claim is that they pick up the electrical and magnetic forces in the air that occur naturally. You plant them into the ground, and that energy is transferred into the ground around the plants. There's been a lot of research done on this, and it started, believe it or not, in the 1700s, 1780, 1800. Various countries have done it. The British government did secret trials of this during the 2 world wars to help boost food production. I don't know what happened with them trials, whether they were published or whatever, but there's still countries, I believe China, are using this technology now a lot to grow food. So we're going to try it. Like I say, I love things like this. It's so simple, and if it works, it'll be fantastic. What they're meant to do is promote the plant growth. They are meant to help with diseases. They also stimulate the microbiome in the soil. So what I'm going to do is, I've got quite a few crops here that have all been planted out at the same time. So it's a really good test to see if these things make any difference. I'm going to dot them around the allotment in certain places, and then we'll see where the coils are around the plants. We'll see if there's any growth boost in them. I'm going to put them in potatoes, I'm going to put them in the French beans, the field beans, in the polytunnel and in potato buckets. So I'm going to get them planted now. Well, there is the coil in the ground. Apparently you're meant to put it on the southern side of the crop, because apparently the effect goes towards the north. I don't know. So I've put it on this side, but as you can see, this is a bed of French beans here. Now the beans at this end here have been in about a week longer than those at the end, so the ones on the end are smaller. So it will be interesting to see if that ridiculous coil improves the growth on the smaller beans at that end, and they can catch up, or they can maybe even overtake these. You can see these are much bigger, much smaller. There's a bed of swift potatoes here, perfectly even growth. So I've put one of the coils here at this end, and we'll see if growth improves at this end. Carrot bed. The carrots are all sown at the same time, so they're really even, the growth. So I've got one coil in here, just there. So I've got one coil there, and I've put one on the outside here as well, just there. These are field beans. Now these were all planted exactly the same time. So I've got the coil on that end. We'll see what happens with them. Maris Piper potatoes, just poking through now. There's a smaller one there, so that's where I've put the coil. Again, an even bed there. Let's see if it makes a difference, and I suppose the biggest difference will be seen here. So this will be the biggest difference, I guess, here, this potato bucket trial. There's 2 potatoes in each bucket, variety called Anoma. Same compost, planted same time about 3-4 days ago. So if this is going to make a difference, it should show in these buckets, I would have thought, wouldn't you? I've also put one there in those 2 little sweet corns. Here in the tunnel, I've got one there, melon, pepper and melon. Apparently works on an area about 3 or 4 square feet. So it should encapsulate all those 3 melons. These melons are all pretty much the same size. In fact, the one that the coils by is slightly smaller, if anything, and there's kind of no flower on that one either. I've also got one here in front of my little grapevine. So I'll give you a home in on him, and then if anything happens, we can probably see a noticeable difference then. He's just been really struggling to put any growth on because I kind of killed him with a little bit of kindness by overfeeding, overwatering, blah blah blah. The plant died back, but I'd almost thought, alright, it's a goner that. Well, I'd thought it was a goner, but it actually, one bud came back up the bottom and it started again. So there's very little root. The root kind of rotted off. So if there is going to be any improvement, we should be able to see it with that coil in place. It has been, the growth has been really, really slow on it. So what you're seeing there, those 3 leaves are probably a month's growth now because it's been at home in the conservatory. And that one there is a replacement I bought because I thought the other one was dead. That one's doing a bit better. These are a red seedless grape. Let's give this a go. So I'm going to give it a trial. You've seen where I've put the coils. And I'll come back. If I start seeing any difference, I'll come straight back and I'll show you. So you maybe want to think about subscribing if you want to see the results of this nut job experiment. Thank you to my patrons. I'll see you soon, guys.